Hello, my jellyfitters. My name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for 2026 the 14th of July, 2026. So there's a potion and invisible jack. So what was I talking about? I was talking about uh, that at some level, the publishing industry isn't doing a good job with gatekeeping function. I shouldn't call it a gatekeeping function. Sort of as a quality control function. But that gatekeeping function can kind of get screwed up, and when it does, it that quality control function can get screwed up, and when it does, it makes mistakes. And by mistakes, I mean it. The industry as a whole publishes books that people want to read, or does not publish books that people want to read, and they should be able to figure this out. I mean, they have people that are supposed to be experts at figuring out what people want to read. And for any number of reasons, I need a stealth range. And for any number of reasons, the publishing industry does not do a good job with that. And it may be chiefly political. We have seen that, right? We've seen that with, you know, Robert Jordan, or not Robert Jordan, what was this guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. He's extremely famous, and I completely forgot. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. Um, Robert Jordan was a fantasy author who wrote novels that were too large. People tell me his Conan books were the best of the Conan books, better than Robert E. Howard, better than El Sproche de Cat. And I can believe it with Robert Howard. I mean, Pop Howard's books were not, or I shouldn't say books, his stories had very wide um, and swingy uh, issues with quality. Telepathy and strength. That's enough for now. Um, Stuff down here. There's that potion. So we have to get to that potion. Here's a door. Another potion. Oops. Back here. Oh, I saw somebody because he spawned. So Goblin spawned. In the Bloodwort room. Okay. There's an exit. Shit. I have to thank Jelly because I lasted as a wandering monster, unfortunately. I think I will get out of here. It did not follow me. Here I am. Black is invisibility. Got a G there, but we don't want to waste the invisibility. So we'll just invisibilify this way. Get rid of that there. Okay, oops. Obstruction, oops. I got H. There we go. There was something over here that I should have been looking at. I'm going to try to reduce the likelihood door key. It goes there. Yeah, he still gets out, but I get the key. This one does not do anything. And aggravate monsters. Now they all know where I am. Another strength. How am I doing? 15. Cobalt. Jelly. Many of those guys in there as possible. Here was the word stop. Okay. Um, that's good. What do we have in here? Some stabs, tunneling, lightning, conjuration. I like conjuration because it's good against ogres. And there's an ogre buddy and a goblin buddy, and a goblin mystic buddy. Okay, what do we have? I detect magic. An aquamarine. So, boat thing. Well, let's see. Having trouble already. This is not good. Not getting anything good either. What the hell was that? Was it? Is it a bloat? I didn't see. Yeah, I did not see whatever that was. But I got my mystic. It was a bloat. Um, There's no trap there, so it's either a trap or a bloat, right? Let's see. So my dude's trapped in there. Can I find another way around? Do I have another this levitation? So I can find another way around here. I already know it was a Conjuration 3. I didn't need to empty it. There we go. Okay. And another. Where am I? There's a secondary path around here. Where am I? Shit. I don't even know where I am. Oh. Okay, so this does not look good for me. I think there is a good possibility that the people who complain are right. That oh, that's my dude. Good. That in some way these guys are somehow biasing things. Now this could be just because the people who tend to work in these jobs are, in fact, um, rich white women. And therefore have a lot of clout. So I'm not sure why they're women, but I know they're rich mainly because they tend to go for these unpaid internships for publishers, and publishers, they don't make, you hear a lot about them, but they don't make a lot of money. They're living in the same kind of world that um, VCs are, right? Venture capitalists, where they for every 10 novels they publish, they have to get a hit for one of them, right? So um, the whole thing where they publish, or they hire people, a lot of interns that are cheap. Okay, well, weapon, not what I needed. I needed, okay, enchanting, H apply H. I think I need to do it again. Let's see. A2 H apply H. What I want to do is get him in this hole here. Some place where we can get a lot of these hitting them at once. And then they get two little nicks at once, right? So that's what's dangerous. So from the publisher's side, there might not be a reason why, a good reason why, uh, a I should say good. I do have food. My weapon is protected. My armor is not. My armor is not worth protecting. Anyway. So, but we've seen things where there were explicit problems, and we've seen that in statements, even statements that show up in uh, what is identify my conjuration, so we know how many charges we have. It's not going there right now. That room. Okay. Aquamarine potion. Now, aquamarine ring was bad, but these things aren't correlated. They're just random colors from a color table. There my dudes are wandering around causing trouble. Good. I would like to recharge my ally. Let's eliminate hopefully. That's it for those dudes. Okay, I'm going to use that detect magic now. Right level, good. And that leather armor is good. Do I have enchanting activity? And I will enchant it, right? Is that right? Should I? It's at least 5. Speed, I have fire immunity. And I did a little too fast, and now I'm 1 level lower. Ooh, multiplicity, very nice. There we go. Actually, I should have done that down there. There might be a secret door. No, it doesn't look like there's a secret door down there. So she and I should have done that. So anyways, yeah, I should have chanted that up. Would not have helped it with the troll. throwing that cursed potion would have been the right thing, and just running, or using the invisibility. Polymorphism with a troll, you're probably going to get something better. And about depth, yeah, these depth 10, 9 monsters are about where it switches over to you're likely to get something less powerful. No, you don't want to use polymorphism on the first level because you're always going, that's when you get your tentacle heart horrors on the first level. Use testing like that. So fairly bad run. And basically what we've said is that there is a problem with the gatekeeping function of publishers because their employees are uniform, and this is both in sort of profile. You're going to have a lot of small, expensive liberal arts college graduate women with lots and lots of with lots of support from family that are letting them have the sort of lifestyle that a publisher allows. So they're not going to make a lot of money, but they're going to be living in New York, basically. And that's the sort of thing that leads to you, getting very, very uh, homogenous people. Um, and so they get people who can't recognize all the possible market segments. So you don't get Dungeon Crawler Carl, right? You don't get the Quiet Man. You don't get the King's Watch, right? The 13th Witch, I think, or something like that is the first one. You don't get these. Instead, you get a whole bunch of the same thing. You get romantasy, right? And stuff that, as a guy, you're bored with, right? So if you don't produce novels for people who want for a segment of the population that might be, let's say, at least half of it, right? It's going to be more than half, right? I don't think my mother could stand something like romantasy either. I mean, her tastes don't overlap with mine, but anything with the romance in it, she's sort of out. So you're taking away 3/4 of your readership right away by looking at looking at things homogenously, and then probably more when you start adding on BLM stuff and things like that later on, where you're removing people from consideration because they are white male authors or something like that, which started a long time ago, right? So, like I said, there was a television show who started its first episode with that premise, which I don't remember because it was bad. Anyways, I don't know if it made it to season, right? But I did not watch television um, regularly, but I did see the first episode of this television show. It was bad in the 90s. So that's an issue, but that's where we said um, self-publishing through print on demand has been so good because word of mouth, right? Dungeon Crawler Carl needs word of mouth. People say, I love this, right? Why did I pick up Dungeon Crawler Carl? Because a Twitch streamer recommended it, right? I'd heard about it, but this Twitch streamer just kept on going on and on and on about it. And then saw it, when I saw it somewhere, I picked up a copy. So, um, and that's the least favorite of those three people I said, but probably the one that best makes my point because it's a phenomenon, right? It is the Harry Potter of 2026. All right, so next time I'll talk about, I've just said that there's a problem here, and I'll talk about why next time.